The wind rustled through the leaves of the great forest of Taub, carrying with it the scent of pine and secrets. Deep within its emerald embrace, where sunlight struggled to pierce the canopy above, rumors swirled among the adventurers and beasts alike about a creature, a legend, the wise king of the forest. Feared, respected, avoided. Villagers told tales of glowing red eyes, of people vanishing without a trace. For some, it was just a story to scare children. For others, a grim warning. But to one man, those rumors were an opportunity. That man was Ainz. Ainz stood at the edge of the forest, his skeletal face half hidden by the shadow of his hood. His crimson eyes, like embers in the night, were fixed on the path ahead. I need a public display of power, he thought, something to spread my name across this new world. What better way than to defeat a living legend? Beside him, Aura, the dark elf guardian, twitched her pointed ears, catching the whispers of the forest. Her master's desire was her command. She would lead him to the heart of the forest where the wise king held court. A moment later, she turned, her eyes gleaming with resolve, and stepped into the cool green gloom. Ainz followed, his every sense alert. They walked for what seemed like hours, the only sounds their footsteps and the distant chatter of unseen birds. Then the trees began to thin, and before them opened a small clearing bathed in an ethereal glow. In the center stood a massive oak, its branches reaching towards the sky like gnarled fingers. Beneath it lay a mossy stone altar, and beside it, a set of tracks, clear signs of the wise king's recent passage. Ainz's lips curled into a predatory smile. So you have brought me to him, he said quietly, more to himself than to Aura. Then let us begin our little show. As if in response, the clearing suddenly stilled. The birds fell silent. A low growl rumbled through the trees, vibrating in Ainz's bones. Slowly, a hulking shape emerged from the undergrowth. It paused, regarding Ainz with eyes that burned like molten gold. It was a creature of immense power and majesty, part wolf, part goat, with fur as white as snow and a mane that rippled with arcane energy. Its gaze was locked onto Ainz, and in that moment, the legend of the wise king of the forest came to life. Ainz returned the stare, unfazed. He raised one hand, palm out, fingers splayed. Submit, he said. One word, yet it echoed with the weight of his authority. The wise king regarded him for a long moment, sensing the strength that coiled within him, sensing the darkness that whispered of forgotten times. It sensed something it had long thought lost, something it had sworn never to acknowledge again. And in the depths of its golden eyes, a flicker of dawning recognition appeared. The tension in the clearing was palpable, a clash of wills between two legendary beings from different worlds. Yet one thing was certain, this would be no ordinary battle. But before the wise king could respond, Aura, ever vigilant, stepped forward. Her voice, sharp as a blade, cut through the silence. Fool, she spat, do you truly think you can stand against the supreme being? The wise king snarled, his hackles rising. Though his response was lost on Aura, his eyes blazing with defiance. In the blink of an eye, he lunged, his massive form blurred, a whirlwind of fangs and claws. But Ainz remained rooted to the spot, his expression unchanging. When the wise king was almost upon him, he made his move. With a speed that belied his skeletal frame, he vanished. One moment he was there, the next he was gone. The wise king skidded to a halt, his momentum carrying him past Ainz's former position. He whirled around, his senses on high alert, searching for his elusive opponent. Where was he? How had he moved so fast? The questions echoed in his mind as he scanned the clearing, his keen eyes missing nothing. But Ainz was already on the move. Appearing silently behind the wise king, he raised his hand, his fingers tracing patterns in the air. Runes of power flared into existence, weaving a barrier of magic around the clearing. The wise king, trapped within its confines, roared in frustration, his powerful jaws snapping shut inches from Ainz's face. It ends here, Ainz said, his voice resonating with power. Your reign in this forest is over. The wise king snarled, his eyes blazing with defiance. He lunged again, but Ainz was prepared. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed a bolt of searing energy. The wise king, caught off guard, recoiled. The blast singed his fur, leaving angry red marks that hissed as they met his skin. For a moment, he faltered, giving Ainz the opening he needed. In a fluid motion, Ainz pressed his attack. Bolts of magic, each one a miniature supernova, rained down on the wise king, forcing him to weave frantic defenses. Each spell found its mark, sending shockwaves of energy that shook the very foundations of the clearing. Yet despite the wise king's valiant efforts, his strength waned with each passing moment. His movements, once fluid and powerful, became sluggish and desperate. His roars, once echoing with might, were reduced to ragged gasps. And as the last of Ainz's spells dissipated, he stood, battered but unbroken, amidst the ruins of his defenses. Ainz approached slowly, his eyes gleaming with a cold fire. The wise king, summoning the last reserves of his strength, snarled, baring his fangs in a final defiant gesture. But Ainz was upon him in an instant. With a gentle touch, he placed a hand on the wise king's head, a gesture so unexpected that the beast froze, its struggle spent. And then in a voice that resonated with unimaginable power, Ainz spoke, "You will serve me now." The wise king trembled, not in anger, but in surrender. In that moment, the legend of the wise king of the forest took a new turn, a turn that would echo through the ages. He was no longer the elusive, feared beast of the woods. He was now something else, something bound to the will of a power far greater than himself. Ainz returned to Karn village, a triumphant grin splitting his skeletal face. Beside him walked the once mythical wise king, now subdued and obedient. It wasn't the imposing beast of legend, but a gentle giant with an air of quiet dignity. Ainz had named him Hamsuk, a testament to the creature's surprising cuteness. Despite its size, it was undeniably adorable, with its tiny pink nose twitching and its ears perked in curiosity. The villagers, accustomed to Ainz's enigmatic ways, weren't exactly shocked, but they were intrigued. Its presence, though imposing, was surprisingly calming, its mere existence a constant reminder of Ainz's growing power. Word of Ainz's exploits, including his rather unconventional pet, began to spread, carrying with it a mixture of awe and fear. Some whispered of a mad magic user who commanded monsters as pets. Others spoke of a skeletal overlord who tamed the untamable. And as the tales grew, so did Ainz's reputation. Now, as the villagers went about their daily lives, their whispers carried on the wind. "Have you heard? The masked magic user tamed the wise king of the forest. They say he has monsters as pets." Imagine that. Who is he really? An adventurer? A hermit? Or something else entirely? Ainz, ever attuned to the whispers of the world, smiled beneath his skeletal face. This was just the beginning. He had tasted the intoxicating power of reputation, and he intended to savor it. After all, names held incredible power, especially when they belonged to an overlord.